and touch the sky. A stars like Chantal, long after.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching this video. First off, please like this video and share it. Share so that we can get more subscribers, so that we can get more people coming to the channel and getting all this positivity. This is 2021. There is new vibe. There are new vibes. There are new stories. There are new year resolutions. And oh my goodness, please don't forget your new year resolutions. How many of you still do the new year resolutions though? Because I don't call them new year resolutions right now. I just call them goals for the year, because the new year resolution thing is so cliche. No one ever wants to do it anymore. I'm just like, yes, they are still new year resolutions, but they are now new year goals, because now, you know, everyone wants to put slight twists to, you know, to everything. Anyway, thank you so much for coming in. And today I'm gonna tell you my story. Today we are all going to go female health and cervical cancer and gynecological cancers. Anyone who knows me knows that I am currently doing gynecology, so this is where we are at right now. That's why I'm so confident in talking about this right now. Anyway, in reference, is it in reference? By the way, when you live in a country where you're not speaking your own language, trust me, your language is going to go. Nowadays, I don't speak English, I don't speak Luo, I don't speak Swahili. Like when I talk to my dad, I speak in Turkish. When I talk to my mom, I'm speaking in English, broken English. I feel like, man, I don't have any. I understand. I'm gonna be like those Turkish people who usually say, I understand. I'm a commissioner. I don't speak. Language is becoming a task. It's really becoming a task. Anyway, in commemoration, is it commemoration? I think in commemoration of cervical, is it in commemoration of cervical cancer? My mom calls it cervical cancer month, which is in January, and the UK actually had like a testing week the whole of last week. I'm going to tell you a small story of how I came to do my pap smear test and why you should do your pap smear test, because this is one of the only cancers where you can get really early checkup and really early diagnosis, possibly helping you to, you know, fight the war against cancer. Grab your wine, let's do this. Cheers if you're drinking. This is holy water. I swear, this is holy water. Hey, it's wine. It's holy water. Anyway. So, the first time I got here, apart from the makeup, I realized the women took care of themselves. They really did take care of themselves. They did a lot of shopping. Their dressing was classy. The nails were always done. And I don't believe I would have gotten here with, oh, I don't dress up. I don't. But I think I dress up better than I used to dress up in Nairobi. Anyway, another thing I had to find out for myself was where to go and cut. You know what I mean? Like where to go for the hair removal. I know what it's called in Turkish. I just don't know what it's called in English. Waxing. Okay. So, I had never done any waxing because number one, I don't swim. Oh, nowadays I go to the pool and I stand there or I take photos, but I still don't swim. People say I'm afraid of water. Those people, cheers to you. Anyway, so we had to find a waxing place, and then we went online, and one of my friends was like, okay, let's get a coupon and get a place and try it out. If it works really well, we can go and, you know, continue going to that person. So we go online and then we buy a coupon. The coupon comes, we go to Kizlai, somewhere in Kizlai, we get this woman. First of all, the salon was okay. The only difference is it was small. But then the second thing we noticed was the woman who was seated there, who had just done her nails, the nail doing was really, really bad. So me and my friend were like, okay, let's just see what is going to happen here. If this is going to be anything that, you know, that is worth it. So I was like, we have never done this thing. So you go inside, me I'll wait. Hey, my friends. I think it's painful. So I was like, Paulette, kangumu, be strong. You're a strong woman. Why are you complaining? Hey, I start screaming. My friend, first off, normally me, the videos I saw before I went, because I did not want to be ashamed. The woman wore gloves. This one did not wear gloves. So even after the whole thing, me and my friend were like, okay, did she even wear gloves? No, she did not. Okay. Another thing, I usually think they usually put like something there so that it numbs the skin. Nothing. And the way that thing is sensitive, like it's very sensitive. Anyway, so first off, it was painful. My friend, that thing was painful. I was like, is this what women go through for beauty? Beauty is too expensive. Beauty is expensive in money. Beauty is expensive. I know beauty is expensive. That pain, no. It's just that you're removing the eyebrows, but then it's even worse. Because now you're removing all the hair at once. And that place has like 120 nerves. That thing is painful. Anyway, continue. This woman finishes with me and then goes outside and says, hey, yeah, she has this is so embarrassing. But she was like, she has coily hair. Hey, what were you expecting? My friend, the hair in my head is coily. What were you expecting? The hair on my body is coily. So what if I have coily hair? Do you have to go outside there and tell everyone I have coily hair? Anyway, fast forward. After a few weeks, I realized, okay, it's like I'm getting an infection. First of all, I think the place wasn't sanitary. She didn't use gloves. And oh my God, I've never gone back there. That was my lesson. I'm never doing that again. How do I do it right now? Please don't ask me questions I cannot answer. Holy water. So, fast forward, I realized, it's like maybe my skin was too sensitive or I'm getting an infection. Then I realized, boom, it's an infection. Hey! Okay, so you start doctor walking. It's called what? You start going to every single doctor to look for information. And you know, some of these things, you cannot go to any doctor. So you go to the doctor and what do you say? Hey, I'm having pain. Where is the pain? Down there. Down there where? Okay, down there. But then when the doctor wants to do an examination, no. I found myself going to the gynecologist. And I went to, first of all, I went to a public hospital gynecologist. Because number one, it's cheap. So I go there one early morning after getting an appointment. I got an appointment for around 8:50. It was already Corona time, so there were not so many people in the hospital. I go and I explain my problem to the gynecologist, and she says, okay, you know, all this information, where are you from, just to make me comfortable. Normally, when you tell them you're a medical student, the comfort even increases because they feel like, okay, so she knows what I'm going to talk about. So they start using all the terminologies. She does the exam. The exam, let me tell you, is not even hard. It's just, okay, it's just a compromising position to be or to find yourself in. But my friend, they do something called a speculum examination. The speculum just goes inside. They just examine the walls of your cervix and your vagina. Sometimes they do an ultrasound just to see if the ovaries and the uterus is okay, and that's it. And it was a woman, so you have the choice of choosing your gynecologist, whether you want it to be a woman or a man, but then most people prefer it to be a woman. My gynecologist was a woman. There was an assistant there, so there was no chances of harassment or anything. Then this woman comes out and then she says, I think you might have HPV. I was like, what? No. You know, the way she didn't even sit me down, my mind went blank. Like, blank means blank. Like, and she was like, okay, so go to the laboratory, give your blood so that you confirm that you don't have, you're not pregnant and you're not. I was like, madam, I came here for drugs. I think I have an infection. But now you do your speculum examination and you say maybe I have HPV. So anyone who doesn't know, HPV is a virus that causes cervical cancer. Cervical, my mom calls it cervical, I call it cervical. In Turkish it is cervical. So I'm gonna go with my mom because I trust her, cervical cancer. So the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, with HPV, there are so many different types of HPV, which means if it is an actual cancer, there are very little chances of having cancer. Sindio, because I was like, okay, me, I came here for different purposes. I didn't come here to do. So for me, the actual examination, the speculum examination and the ultrasound and the urinary tract examination was something that happened not because I voluntarily went to do it, but because I went there because I felt like I had an infection, and then it so happened that the doctor was like, okay, maybe you have a HPV infection, so you need to go and get tested. So they take my blood testing, and then I sit down with the doctor, and then she goes like, you need to go to either a private hospital to get a pap smear, because I think I saw like abnormal epithelium, like the lining of the walls of the cervix. And I was like, okay. So if I left that place, and the first thing I did was search online for a private gynecologist who lived near my house, because the public one I wasn't as satisfied. But she was like, okay, so she's seeing unusual things on the wall, and then she said, "Ama bin mioru, yani, I'm not sure." So I get out of the hospital. The first thing I do is search on Google for any private doctors, any private gynecologist. And the first thing I do, the first gynecologist I find, I call her and I tell her, okay, I need an appointment. And she was amazing. She was amazing. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe that I found such a nice doctor. I get on the metro. My mind is still racing because I'm like, HPV means cancer, HPV means cancer, HPV means cervical cancer. So there are two types of HPVs that are of high risk of causing cervical cancer. These are HPV 16 and 18. There are so many different types of HPVs. There is 32, 33, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. There are so many. But the ones that are of higher chances of causing cancer are 16, 18. Nowadays, 34, 35 has been added. And the vaccine, which I'll come to later, is actually made for 16, 18 and 34, 35. But then there is a new vaccine that just came out that protects you from 9 different types of HPVs. Okay, so I get there and I'm like, oh my god, Dr. Deria. So I just came from a public hospital, and the doctor goes like, I might have HPV. She saw something. I don't want to wait for the results because the results might come in 2 weeks. So if I have it, I want to do a pap smear so that if the results are bad, then at least I can start treatment early or something like that. Because also the other HPVs that usually don't cause cancer cause condylomas, and they still also cause differential lining of the epithelium, but then they can be burnt off. Again, so this is the second time I'm getting a speculum examination in the span of 1 hour. Not uncomfortable at all. So Dr. Deria goes like, Tatlin, never listen, where are you from? What are you doing here? She's a graduate from Ankara University, and she tells me, oh, I wish you came to my clinic in the university, you would have paid less. But I was like, okay, I didn't know, and this looks like it's an emergency. So she does the testing, and she goes like, okay, I'm not seeing anything. I felt relieved. Oh my God, you have no idea the kind of relief I had. But she was like, but we should still do a pap smear, and then send it to the national laboratory, and then you'll get results, just to be sure. That's how I found myself doing a HPV pap smear test. And I had wanted to do it for so long. I had been planning to do it for so long, but it was so expensive. It's around, I think, 500 tele per dose. That's 10,000 shillings per dose. And I don't work. So I kept postponing it until I was like, okay, yeah, okay. So there are different ways of doing this pap smear thing. But then the one that she used was the cotton way. There are so many risk factors that come with cervical cancer, which include, one, of course, being a woman, and number 2 is being a black woman. Being a black woman increases your risk of getting cervical cancer, and also living in the sub-Saharan countries, because I think sub-Saharan countries have not increased the amount of testing they're doing and the amount of pap smears they are doing. But of late, so many governments, including governments like Rwanda, are actually going to be, Rwanda is going to be the first country in the whole of the world that is going to eradicate cancer. I mean, how amazing is that? Like, this is coming from an African country. Like, I am so proud to be African, and I know the Rwandan government works. I feel like maybe I should go and benchmark them. The other day I saw someone said maybe if they were to move, they would move to Rwanda just to see how a working government looks like. I will definitely move to Rwanda because I think their government is really, really assertive and, for change. So of course, not of course, but thank God my HPV results came out negative. I was really, really happy about it. I don't have HPV, whether it was the less risky ones or the higher risk ones. But HPV is something that causes cervical cancer. And cervical cancer is something that by getting your pap smear done early enough, whether you are 19, by the time you start having your periods, you need to be starting to do this HPV pap smears. And that's after you get a pap smear that is negative, then you go and you do the vaccine. The vaccine, there are different types of vaccine. We started with 16-18 vaccine, then we moved to 4 vaccine, and then we moved to 9, which basically means a vaccine that protects you against 9 types of HPV. When we were a little bit younger, or in the olden days, they usually told us that by the age of 26, you should have done your vaccination because it doesn't work after 26. But then the beautiful thing about science is science always evolves. So of late, the latest research shows that you can do this vaccine until the age of 45. But obviously, the earlier the better, because HPV, in the risk of getting cervical cancer also increases with the amount of partners you have sexually and starting of sexual intercourse. So it's a really good idea to start the vaccine earlier than later. I actually tried to get the vaccine in Turkey, but because of Corona right now, the vaccine is not getting in. There is no vaccine in the laboratories or in the examiners, chemists. So I'm still waiting on Dr. Daria to let me know when the vaccines are going to come in so that I can start the vaccination process. The vaccination process is a 3-dose process where you get 1 dose every 3 months, and it's done in 9 months, in a period of 9 months. And then after 9 months, your risk of getting cervical cancer reduces to up to 99%. Like, it is that specific, up to 99%. Now imagine with all the cancers we have, if you have the opportunity to get rid of or to stop worrying about just one of them, and it gives you the certainty of doing that up to 99%, why wouldn't you take it, Yanni? Why? I'm even talking to myself, like, why wouldn't you take it? As expensive as it is, I researched and I found out that in Kenya right now, the vaccine is free. They were offering it free. There was a campaign that was going on in 2019. Right now, I'm not so sure, but then you can confirm with your local hospital or your local clinic, but it is worth it. I know deep down inside, there are so many people who have the hesitance when it comes to vaccines, but then there's usually that 1% that people are like, oh, maybe I'll be that 1%. But then risks have to be taken in life, right? But then I understand the people who are anti-vaccines, but then I wish we did more research and got more information before we spread propaganda or fear when it comes to vaccine. Whether it's the new COVID vaccine. I actually got the new COVID vaccine. Thank God, thank God, thank God. And I will deal with that in another video. But as of now, to celebrate or to create awareness for cervical cancer and the steps that you need to take to actually protect yourself from cervical cancer, this video goes out there to show you that this is something that is slightly uncomfortable for a full-time or a long-time comfortable life. Also, when you're diagnosed with cervical cancer, it's not necessarily a death sentence. I know cancer is one of the biggest problems we have, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, where we do not have the treatments and we do not have the chemotherapy and radiotherapy equipment. But when you get cervical cancer, doesn't grow as fast as things like, for example, breast cancer. Do is, okay, please explain to me what this means. What grade of cervical cancer do I have? Because there is cervical cancer grade 1 to 4. Grade 1 and 2 can be removed surgically. Grade 3 and 4 need a little bit more radiotherapy and chemotherapy, a combined treatment to help, eradicate the cancer. Grade 4 is the one that I think has metastasized, gone to other organs, but that also, for elongating life, there is chemotherapy, there is mixed treatment. So I think we need to also learn how to be very outspoken with our doctors. Our doctors are not gods. We are also still learning. You need to be very assertive and you question your doctor. If you have to go back home, write down the questions you have, bring back to the doctor, do your own research so that as you're coming back, you're not necessarily arguing with the doctor, but you're presenting the options you think that are viable, and your doctor will tell you why they think that's not it and why they feel like another treatment plan is better for you. Cervical cancer should not be a death sentence. Cancer, especially in the sub-Saharan Africa, should not be a death sentence. Our government needs to be working left, right, center to bring cancer centers for people like us, people in the middle class, in the lower class, so that cervical cancer and cancer is not a death sentence. But for cervical cancer, you can go and get vaccinated so that at least that's one problem out of the way. Okay, thank you so much for listening. If you liked this video, please subscribe, like, and don't forget to share. Get tested, get vaccinated. See you in my next video.
Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier when the morning comes.